Hi, everybody. This is When Humanists Attack. We are a project of the Humanist Being, a 501c3 in the state of Vermont, dedicated to all things human and humanist. And we're here tonight, finally getting around to a interview that I, for one, have been wanting to do for quite a few months, pretty much since we started this whole series last year. And this is my good friend, Miguel Barrios, who is a humanist, obviously, but also an MD, somebody who has come to the United States of America for reasons. He emigrated to get political asylum because of his treatment as a gay man in Colombia. And we want to talk about all of that stuff and about why Miguel remains so insufferably optimistic about we humans in the face of all this. And good evening, Miguel. Good to have you here. Finally, we're getting around to it. Sorry it took so long.
Good evening, Vincent. Thank you for the invitation.
So now we've known each other since fall of 2016.
Yes.
Yes.
2016. I don't recall, but I guess so. Yes.
Yeah. And we did our share of activist stuff in response to the Orange Menace, whatever you want to call it. For those last 4 years, we did a lot of that together.
Yeah, exactly.
And had a lot of conversations about philosophy and religion and all of that good stuff. And well, okay, why don't we start where we usually do then, and tell us about you as a person. What about you as a kid? Where'd you grow up? Your family? Mother, father, siblings, all of that good stuff. Where do we place you in all that? In Colombia, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was born in a small town in Colombia called Espinal. My parents were from the town. My mother's name was Olga. My father was Miguel Antonio, and I was there studying basically like any child in a Catholic, rising up Catholic environment. And when I grew up in a very peaceful, quiet place, and I realized very early, maybe when I was 15 or 16, that I wasn't like the other kids. And but I moved later on to Bogota to study medicine. I passed in the top university of the country, and I became a doctor 6 years later, and I was totally closeted as a gay man. And yeah, then I met my first partner maybe when I was 28, and it was a late realization, and it was full of struggles and with a lot of fear and a lot of ostracism, and then we broke up like 10 years later, and then I decided to come to the States, and because I was threatened, my life was threatened, I wasn't feeling safe in the country, and that's basically it. I came to the States, and I applied to political asylum, and then it was granted 2 years later, and I was working for NYU as a research coordinator, and and that's my story. And then after that, I began to work for the New York City Health and Hospitals in the Test and Trace Corps, and I have been working for them. Since 1 year ago. Basically, is in June the 1st. It's gonna have my first year, and that's what I've been doing. I like to help people. And since I came in these first 2 years in the States, I discovered my passion for painting. So I also paint.
Okay, and could you tell us more about the start of that story, your realization that you were not like the other kids? Because that's what I've always been curious about, is,
Well,
how.
when I was a teenager, of course, you begin to have all those changes in your voice and in your body, and the attraction for me was for boys. Basically, I was attracted to boys. I was not attracted to girls, and it was very intense. I couldn't help it. It was very, very hard, and but I was trying to deny that to myself and to deny it to my family, and to be as much as straight as I could be. I had girlfriends. I tried. I was trying to convince myself that I wasn't gay, and it was impossible. But I couldn't. But I didn't open that to people. I just was in secret living that life. I was attracted to boys, but I wasn't taking any action to approximate to them, because I had a lot of fear. And in a Catholic town, you receive that instruction that homosexuals are sinners, and you can go to hell, and and there are also many cultural things, like, for example, many jokes and many stories that people made to make feel the LGBT people really bad, and when things happen, real bad things happen to LGBT people, the community say, "Oh, well done. If he dies, even better." Something like that. It's very, very harsh, the treatment that the gay men receive for being just gay. So we, in the asylum case, we documented 66 deaths of men just for being gay. And recently I heard another teenager committed suicide because he was totally insulted by the director of his high school. It's a very famous case. It's Urrego. It was the last name of the guy, and recently the Supreme Court put in jail to this female director, in jail for at least 8 years for that case, because she was so coercive and so intrusive that she put the guy to the limits, and the guy committed suicide for that. So there are many situations where life becomes, so you live in fear. It's like if you express your feelings, or you express your desires, it's not going to be well received by the community. And if you grow up in a very conservative community, it's even worse, because you are the subject of jokes and insults, and people make fun of you. People make names to you, and usually female names, even if you are not flamboyant or you are not showing any gay signs.
What is it?
So
Do they have a handbook for these guys? You know, like
no, it's
printed in all languages?
no, it's a way to insult people. It's a
No, I
way
understand what you mean.
it's a way to make feel people really bad and to take advantage of people who are weak in a way that because it's not going to 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 be straight. So that's the situation in when I grew up. I remember my family in the gatherings making jokes, and there was a huge part of the jokes being for gay men, and wah 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 wah, and then the jokes. I was laughing, but later I was like, I think that's not nice when you feel that you are part of that group of people that are making fun of you. It's you feel like it's an insult for you. It's not like you. And if you and I was thinking, if I disclose to anybody that I am gay, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know who is going to react in what way. And I tried to tell to some of my friends, and I got very bad reactions. Like I got a very nice friend. She said, I think you're going to be deviated. And other friends, she said, oh, and I think that's for inverted people. And so the comments were not supportive. People are not supportive for LGBT people, and that's why people become ostracized and decide to have a very, very limited group of friends, and the circle of friends is very narrow, very limited to just the basic friends, so you don't socialize too much, you don't open your heart to your family easily, because you are going to be easily punished or isolated or criticized, or even I know of youth people who were the word in English is when they are put it out from home. I don't know the word in English. It's they were booted from home, but disowned. They were disowned. Basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Their parents threw them out of the house. Yeah.
The parents disowned them because they are not they don't fulfill the expectations of being straight. So that was and actually I feel like I am my chest is tight, because telling that is remembering many of those situations that come to my mind from that history of many years being in the closet.
Well, I could see your concern. I mean, leaving your home country under threat, basically. That would have made an impression on me, I'm sure, if I had to go through that. And what is it okay to say anything more about that? What was this? People found out in college that you were gay?
I after that at the university I was completely dedicated to the study. I never had a boyfriend.
Okay.
I never had any relationship with anybody. Ended that, and then I went to practice in a small town, and I was like thirsty for having friends who were gay, but I didn't know where to find them. So I went to Bogota, and there was a bookstore that they sell medical books, but at the bottom they also sell magazines. And I saw one of the magazines were for gay men. I saw, oh my God, that's interesting. I bought one of them, and there were some advertisements at the end of gay men. And I wrote down to one of the advertisements, no, I maybe 3 or 4 advertisements, and I replied them, and I got a reply from one of them, and he was my first gay friend. And he introduced me to all the friends, and he introduced me to my first boyfriend later on. And, but it was totally like if we were talking about a boyfriend, we say, oh, our girlfriend. Oh, so we were talking in like with like a code. It's not talking openly.
Sure.
You are talking about a boy, or you say, oh, my girlfriend, but it was in code, everything. And but I was living in my hometown, so I was traveling now every 2 weeks to Bogota to meet my friends, and we used to socialize, and that's why I met my first partner, and we were together for 10 years. Yeah.
Wow. So, I mean, this was all before Grindr and all of
Before
this.
coming to the
So
States,
this was, everybody was just meeting at bars and such. So
yeah, exactly. It was the time where you meet in bars, but I met my partner through another friend. A friend introduced me to him, so we were socializing, and we get along very well, and we did a lot of things together. It was fun, but and we were living together for a long time. Later on, like 9 months later, we met. We were living together. I found a job in Bogota, but of course, I remember that he had the picture of his mother and his sister in the bedroom, but when I was there, he put it under the table, because her sister and her mother used to arrive unexpectedly. So if they arrive, he just rise up the picture to make notice that I wasn't there. But he had another picture of us in the table too, so it was hiding thing, and I couldn't pick up the phone in his apartment because if it was his mother or his sister, they could think that there is something wrong. I couldn't call my mother from there. I had to call my mother from the cell phone. So it was a lot of things that you have to do to keep appearances, to stay like you are just friends, just that you are not partners.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because people can think badly. But I think all the neighbors of that neighborhood, they knew that we were partners. But people were more how to say were more accepting, because we were customers of their business, and we were good customers. So we were spending money with the person of the laundry, with the person of the business, the bakery, the burger place. They knew that we were good customers, so that's why they was like. But I know that many of them, as soon as we gave the back, they were like, they are gays. But they didn't say gays. They say, they are faggots. They say those words. Because you hear those words once you give the back, and like, but that's how people behave.
Yeah, but that's to be expected.
Yeah.
In many places. I mean, look, they didn't care. Your money was, your blood might be pink, but your money was just as good as anybody else's. If you were in the United States, I'd say, but your money was green. And God bless them. Yeah. That's all they cared about. Yeah, exactly. Would that there were more people as enlightened as that. And so, like me, you were doing the whole religion at church every Sunday, religion classes, all year after year, year after year.
Part of the Legion of
How'd you do with all that? Yeah, how'd you do
rosary, rosary every night.
Yeah.
Mass every Sunday, everything. Yeah.
Oh, yes, yes, keep everybody's head equal. So, yes, this was all before Grinder and all of that good
Internet.
stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you even find out where the bars or what the bars were? I mean, that would have to be done through personal contact, right?
Yeah, to find a bar, it was word of mouth. Yes, yes,
Wow.
yes. You know somebody tells you it's in this place, and usually it was just a door with an address, and you open the door, and you knock in the door. Somebody opens the door, and you go to a window. They say, "What are you here for?" And who invited you here? And you have to say the name of somebody who they know. So it was like a secret invitation of somebody,
Yeah, sure.
and then it became more popular, and they put a sticker in the car, for example, so you can go to the parking lot, and if you have the sticker, you can get in. If you don't have the sticker, you cannot. So you pay for the sticker, and in that way, that was like the signal that you can be part of the club.
Yeah, sure.
And but yeah, the religion, it's something that really I remember that I went with my mother to mass when I was here, and I remember that that day the service wasn't about sexuality, and the priest did an entire service about homosexuality. That is a sin. It's a sin. They're sinners, and those are the words, and that those keep the world upside down, and they have to be punished, and there will be punishment, and God doesn't want you, and the Pope, and this and this and this. I was like, oh my God, this guy is doing the service for me, because I was in front of my mother. She wanted to introduce me to the priest, like her son that is in the States, and it's coming to mass with me, and and then I went to receive the communion because I didn't feel any sinner, and he was like trembling to see if I was going to give me the communion or not, but he finally gave it to me. But also the kind of things that 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 many priests don't know how much damage they produce in people. I think it's because I knew also a couple of priests that where I met them in a bar. I met them in a bar, and then you go to their service. And it's like, I saw you there Saturday, but but the way how they approach is that Jesus loves you, that Jesus Christ loves you, so no matter what, you are going to be welcome here anyway. So although it's not the common rule, it's more for the Catholic Church making a critic, being, and they were very opposed to the gay marriage. When the gay marriage discussion was on the table in the Congress, they were very opposed to gay marriage. And when the adoption for gay couples of children, they were completely out of their mind. They were completely they couldn't believe that could be happen, and that was like the worst decision that the Colombian society could make. That's the worst thing that can happen to children. Poor children, they are going to be converted to be gay since they are kids. So yeah,
somebody's thinking about the children. God bless them.
Yeah, it's not like
Oh yeah, well, so But how did all of this mystical stuff set with you even when you were younger, for example? I mean, here you are now, as far as I can tell, atheist and a rationalist, if
Well,
ever I met
well,
one. So,
I think I believe in God, but it's
okay.
the same God of that Einstein was talking about, Spinoza, and the guy that makes the universe flow, and that guy that God that make things happen for a reason. But but uh, yeah, but now I feel free from that burden of going to church every Sunday. It
Oh,
was it
yeah.
was it was because it was repetitive. It was the same thing. It didn't change. It
Hmm.
was the same songs,
Hmm.
the same. Uh, when I say sermon, it's like the same way nagging on you, like you are doing wrong, you are
Yeah, pretty
bad,
much.
you are not complying
Pretty
to
much.
what
Right.
you do. You are not enough. So
You got to pay Jesus all this stuff you
right,
owe him.
exactly. So that's something that the Catholic Church hasn't changed in 2,000
Well,
years.
it's been working for them for a long
Yeah,
time.
it works for them, exactly. So coming here, I feel completely liberated. I feel completely in freedom. I
With that aside, do you remember like when you uh say like you started realizing you weren't like the other kids? Oh, I might be gay or whatever. I mean, did you at the same point that, oh, I may not really believe in this whole Father, Son, and Holy Ghost
um
thing and
I
purgatory and
I
all the rest of
think
it?
I was going beyond. I think I was thinking that that was just the story told by some people, not the way
Okay,
how it is, or how
sure.
in other parts of the world can be conceived. And I remember that in religion, and we have religion as a class in school.
Hmm.
So we see 90% of the time Catholic, Catholic religion, and the 10% is like the others, the others, like ooh. So, and the others can be Pentecostal, can be Anglican, can be Episcopalian, Presbyterian. And
Oh,
when they say Hinduism, it's like, oh, Hinduism, Islamism, oh, they're gonna behead us, something. And so the other religions have not any validity, like any
duh.
uh, yeah. And and Judaism, they eat children when they
Oh,
are kids.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
that's where how the and
Hmm.
I remember that my friends, when I was questioning things of the Catholic religion, and they say, you don't seem Catholic, you don't seem a true Catholic.
Hmm.
So that's the way how, yeah, they doubt, like, oh, like this guy, exactly, like,
Hmm.
yeah, I remember about being gay. I remember a colleague, a doctor. Uh, we were we were in a break of work at lunch hour, and she looked at me and she said, I don't know if you are or you are not. So I asked her, you are or you are not what? Say, well, think whatever you want to think. But I know that she was meaning if I am or I was not gay, because in that day I was wearing some pants that were um, uh, what is the word? It's velveted pants, blue dark velveted pants.
Dead giveaway.
Yeah, it was like too much for a man to wear velvet pants.
Good heavens.
Yeah. So you hear those comments and you have to deal. I have to learn how to defend yourself in certain situations, but you get tired. You really get tired of being all the time trying to overcome and trying to have a spot in your. So you don't if you get very empowered with that, because at my last years I was feeling very empowered. I was feeling, so that's why you begin to be like dangerous for a society that it's like this guy is approaching to 40, he's not married, no children, no girlfriend, only male friends. So he's probably gay, and if you are very empowered, you begin to be like you are like somebody who is dangerous in certain way, because you are too self-confident and you believe in yourself. So that's what I was
of course.
feeling. That's what I was feeling.
Yeah, they don't like it when you do that.
No.
Yeah, well, sooner or later you're outing yourself.
You're outing
more or less.
Exactly.
And you, in a way, don't even have a choice. You're just going to be obvious. Wow. So all of that, what of that wound up with you having to come to America? What was the immediate reason for you coming to America?
The story is, if we have time, I don't know if I can tell you. If we have time, maybe in 3 minutes, I can tell you. A friend of mine, he said, be careful, because there are some people killed from the gay community. We don't know what's going on. People don't know. People are scared. People are trying to find out what's going on. The only truth is that it seems that they receive a password. And in that time, it was coincidental that I received several phone calls, 3 phone calls exactly. And each phone call was a threat. The first phone call was, be careful because gay men are being killed. And the second call was, and they hung up. Was a female voice. The second voice was a male voice. He said, you are in our list. You are very close. In Colombia, it's pasar al papayo. You are very close to be killed, but pasar al papayo is to be killed. And the third one was, we are only waiting for you give us the opportunity or the chance to kill you. So, but at the same time that was happening, my friend said, be careful, because we don't know how this works about the password, because they give him a password to the people they kill. They give him a password. Some people say that they receive a password. I say that's stupid. How somebody's going to receive a password to be killed? So what I found out was that they made invitations. It was the time of the internet already. And there was a website called Gaydar. I don't know if you remember Gaydar. It was from the UK. And the invitation was to a social party, to a gathering. They say, oh, we are professionals from Bogota, from the country, very serious. We want to invite you to our reunion on this date, at this time, in this address. So it was usually Saturdays, and I couldn't make it because on the weekends I was traveling to see my parents in my hometown. So I never could make it. But one day I was very curious about where it was. So I went during the day. I went during the day to look at the address, and they sent me an invitation to two places, one day and the other one another day. So I went to the first one, and I remember that when I was they say that the address was 721, and I was in that street. I found 718, 724, but there was not 721 at all, neither on one side or the other side of the street. And it was a street that was close to big traffic, and it was the entrance of a garage that was going. When I saw that address didn't exist, I put all the pieces together. I thought, that's the password. Because my one friend told me was that the person provides the password and he receives a gunshot in the head. So what happened is that the person arrives at 7 p.m. on a Saturday when there is not a lot of people in that street, and just there are a few people waiting for him, but waiting because they give the password to many people. So the people who arrive with the password, the fake address is going to be abducted and killed by those people. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
Yep. So far, so good. I mean,
so I went to the first
bad.
I went to the first place, and it was a fake address. And when I went to the second one, it was another fake address. So that's what I was thinking. And then I was at the same time receiving the phone calls, and it was the time in Colombia where there were something called false positives. It was the government was paying to the militaries was giving money for guerrillas men being killed. So what they did was that they recruited some young men in the city, and they transported them to areas where there was guerrillas, and they killed them. But some of the families, they knew that these guys, these young men, they were not part of the guerrillas, and the mothers were insisting on that. There were 7,604 killed men by the government because of false positives, because that law allows them, to the police and to the army, get money for the killing of these supposedly guerrilla men. And
yes, of course. Yeah, you get
it was a state law, and I was in the same time. So there was a lot of people appearing killed in the country, young men killed in the country. So you begin to be very paranoid and very nervous. What's going on? Why these people are killed in the middle of the jungle, and why this is happening? So nobody knew all the story. The story is opening now, years later. The responsibles are in something called right now in Colombia GEP, that's Justicia Especial para la Paz. It's like peace, special justice. It's a treat to trying to make peace with all these situations. So if the people can tell the truth, they are telling those truths right now. They're telling those things that happen. And that it was in those years, 2006, 2007, that when I came to the state in 2007. Yeah, like a truth of reconciliation. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
what a mess.
Yeah, it was scary, totally scary. So I was in my car. I couldn't tell if the car behind was something bad. It's like you begin to be paranoid and very, very scary. And I remember that I told a cousin that she was a lawyer. She's a lawyer. She said, "Well, this is what you have to do. Every single day, go and out the house by a different spot. Some days drive, some days don't drive. Be very careful and look at your back all the time." So that's extremely exhausting. So when you are thinking that somebody's gonna kill you at any moment because you are careless and you give any idea who you are. So it's and that was, and when I received the last phone call was the last straw. I was like, okay, no, this is too much. I cannot stay here just in fear. And I came to Florida, to Disney. I was like, I remember that my friend, I was like, oh my God, this feels so good. I never felt so good in Disney, completely disconnected from the reality of the country and of those fears, and just
nobody's threatening you with death at Disney.
Right, exactly. And yeah, that's all part of the story.
Yeah, it certainly is. Now, so you've been a citizen for how long?
Since well, the political asylum was granted in March 9, 2009.
Okay. No.
But first you become asylee for 1 year, then you are permanent resident for 1 year, and you can apply to citizenship 5 years later. So in 2015, I could be, I was a citizen.
Okay.
22 of, I think it was May or June. I can check my passport because my passport.
Yeah, good, sir. Everything.
I got the passport the next day.
Yeah. Why don't waste any time?
Yeah.
Wow. So everything worked the way it should have.
Yeah.
Really. And you're working for various gay causes. What was the last thing you were doing? You were helping the guys at Front Runners.
Front Runners. Yeah. I recently a friend of mine who is not a runner. He's trying to run, and I'm pushing him to enroll in Front Runners. It's a nice group of people, and very good a way to socialize and to interact with people. I really like the group.
Sure.
And later, and now I joined BSEC, and I was talking with Tasha to volunteer for painting, so to do painting classes, to painting.
Oh, people are gonna love that.
Yes. Yeah.
Truly, you humanist, you.
Yeah. So that's.
I guess so. That brings us to, I guess, this end of the story, which is here you are. You're volunteering for various things. Now we're all coming into our period of, it's not normal yet. It's post normal,
post-COVID.
Something like that. Yeah, post-COVID.
Yeah.
Not quite. And now you're going to help us with all this humanism stuff.
Right.
I'm glad to say. You've been pretty much understanding what I've been blathering about for a while, and it certainly does seem to match what you otherwise think and say you believe. The God of Spinoza, which I'm in with myself, down with, okay with, however you want to say it, with myself. And And if I'm remembering correctly, the main thing you were interested in was the books to prisoners project, at least for the moment.
Yes, at least at the moment. But right now, with the project of painting.
Oh well,
that's amazing that I can share my passion for painting with
that's got
the group.
you know that's got precedence over lugging boxes of books. That's for sure.
No, but I think the books for prisoners, it's a good cause.
It's definitely one of the good things that that we're up to.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know, we're getting fairly close to an hour here. What I mean, this is good God, Miguel, we hadn't even gotten into the politics of the situation and the narco-terrorism and why America does not want to go down this route of armed insurgency, because, it sounds like once people get into that, it's real hard to stop, among other things. But we can do, I am advised that we can do a part 2.
Okay.
So do you have any closing remarks, closing words, questions, comments, concerns? More pretty tulips?
Me?
Yeah.
No, thank you, sir, for the invitation. I enjoyed the talk. I think I haven't told it the complete story of since teenager years, and you found more details that were part of me that make who I am, and yeah.
Well, I think a part 2 is well and truly called for.
Okay.
And then getting into some words that you have about the future. For me, all of this work we're doing has a lot to do with legacy.
Okay.
What do we do about our legacy?
Right.
Gay men and legacy. It can be as quote unquote simple, with apologies to any parents listening, quote unquote simple as children. But no, that's all for a part 2. Anyway, look, let's call this a well and truly done. Folks, this is When Humanists Attack. We are still a project of the Humanist Being, 501c3 corporation in the state of Vermont, dedicated to humans and all things humanist. Please subscribe, please share, please click on the little bell, take a look at all of that stuff. We've got everything from a Patreon to a Reddit. So there's plenty of other stuff to look at, even though this is, well, obviously our flagship project, the When Humanists Attack. Everybody, thanks for listening. Chris, our technical guy, thanks for teching. Miguel, thanks for finally
thank you
doing part 1. Really, finally doing a good part 1. All right, everybody, and that's a wrap.
Sus amores, en la negra soledad.